What if the story of humanity that we've all been told is missing an entire chapter? What if the story of humanity were missing several chapters? What if our ancestors weren't just primitive hunter-gatherers slowly evolving in disconnected pockets around the world, but instead they were part of a far older and more advanced global civilization, one whose remnants are still visible today, etched into stone across multiple continents? And there is compelling evidence from South America, Africa, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia that challenges the conventional narrative. And when you begin connecting the dots across geography, culture, architecture, astronomy, and even genetics, the picture that forms suggests something astonishing. The possibility of a forgotten epoch of human history wiped clean by cataclysm and buried beneath the sands of time. Before we take a look at some of these examples, let's address the most obvious question. If there was a global advanced civilization, what happened to it? Where did it go? Modern geology and climatology are increasingly supporting the idea that Earth experienced a massive cataclysm around 12,800 years ago, a period known as the Younger Dryas. This event, potentially triggered by a cosmic impact or fragmented comet hitting the North American ice sheets, unleashed global flooding, a dramatic temperature drop, and widespread extinction of megafauna. Then another cataclysmic phase hit roughly 1,200 years later, possibly hitting the ocean, causing the Earth to rise in temperature and thus leading the Earth eventually out of the Ice Age. And these were not minor climate events. We're talking about a sudden sea level rise of up to 400 feet within just a few hours, global massive wildfires, and temperature swings of over 15 degrees or more, enough to collapse entire ecosystems and bury entire coastlines. So if advanced civilizations had flourished during this time, especially near the coasts, as most do, it's hard not to imagine their cities, technology, and culture being swallowed up and erased forever. And for those asking, where are the metal buildings and metal structures? Remember, 13,000 years is a staggering amount of time. For context, the Titanic, made of industrial-grade steel, has nearly dissolved completely after just over 100 years underwater. And if you take a look at abandoned cars, they rust in decades. Without constant maintenance, buildings of any material collapse within centuries. Stone, however, especially granite or basalt and even limestone, those are materials that can endure millennia. And it's the one thing we continue to find all over the world. It's the one thing that reminds us of what was here before us. It's the scattered remains of highly advanced civilizations before the tragic events of the Younger Dryas impact. So let's look at the structures, the evidence that is still standing. All over the world, we have incredible stone structures, from Easter Islands in the Pacific to Cusco and the Sacsayhuaman in Peru, across the Atlantic to Timbuktu in Africa and the Dogon Islands of Mali, and further east to Petra in Jordan, Persepolis in Iran, Mohenjo-daro in Pakistan, and Angkor Wat in Cambodia. There's a pattern emerging, almost identical construction techniques, precision stone cutting that is so exact it baffles modern engineers, polygonal masonry, seamless joints, massive stones that have moved without any explanation across hundreds of miles, across different parts of the world, stones that interlock and connect without mortar. Many of these sites align with celestial bodies or sit along straight line geodetic paths, often called ley lines, suggesting an advanced understanding of astronomy and Earth's geometry. Many of these sites have similar shared structures, motifs and symbols such as trapezoidal doors, obelisks, serpent iconography, solar discs, and depictions of the third eye, all found in cultures, according to textbooks, that had no contact whatsoever. So what do you think? You think there was some contact here? It sounds like there was, right? All these ancient cultures all had structures of massive scale with unknown builders. Petra, for instance, could house over 20,000 people and was carved into solid rock. And it's a similar story with Angkor Wat in Cambodia, Teotihuacan in Mexico, the Great Plaza of Tikal in Guatemala, Ziggurat of Ur in Iraq, and Catalhoyuk in Turkey, all incredible structures capable of housing thousands of people. Many of these structures' origins are still unknown, and the local populations often attribute them to gods or people before us. Are we really to believe all this is coincidence? The sheer scale, the size of these megastructures, is it all a coincidence, knowing that these civilizations had no contact with each other? Or did they have contact with each other, and that's why we have the similarities? And what about the architecture of connection? Let's take the pyramids, for example. You'll find pyramidal structures in Egypt, Sudan, Mexico, Peru, Indonesia, China, and many other places across the world. world. They're often aligned with solstices, star constellations, and cardinal directions. Many share a common tiered design and even the same 4:3 base to height ratio. Even more fascinating is the sacred geometry embedded in their proportions. Geometry also found in musical harmonics, the human body, and atomic structure. But it goes deeper than that. The trapezoidal doorway, often claimed to be a uniquely Incan feature, also appears in ancient Egypt, again in Angkor Wat in Cambodia, and other sites across the world. The same goes for gold funerary masks, used both by the Incas and the Egyptians to honor their dead. And then there's a depiction of the third eye or pineal gland, prominent in Hindu temples, found in Egypt symbolism like the Eye of Horus, and even represented in pre-Columbian South American art. How can we explain these near identical spiritual and architectural expressions appearing thousands of miles apart and supposedly centuries removed from one another? And we also have the unsettling genetic evidence. One of the most disruptive discoveries over the last 2 decades comes not from archaeology but from genetics. Middle Eastern DNA has been found in Native American remains. Aboriginal Australian DNA has been discovered in South American mummies. Cocaine and nicotine plants native only to the Americas have been found in the bodies of Egyptian mummies. These aren't fringe findings. These are peer-reviewed ongoing studies that are causing major questions within the field of human migration theory. If Egyptians were using American plants thousands of years ago, long before Columbus, what does that tell us? Clearly we're missing something, right? Doesn't this suggest that ancient civilizations were connected? Doesn't this suggest that these ancient cultures had access to travel to different continents? And when you combine the megalithic architecture, the genetic data, the symbolic parallels, and the alignment of sacred sites along precise global paths, the idea that ancient civilizations developed independently in total isolation becomes more and more difficult to defend. This isn't about conspiracy or dismissing science. It's about evidence, real, physical, measurable data that contradicts the neat timelines found in schoolbooks. The more we dig, the more we uncover a story not of linear, gradual progress, but one of cycles, a rise, a fall, and a forgotten golden age. And yes, it is uncomfortable because it forces us to rethink everything from human evolution to the origin of consciousness. But that's the point of science, right? To update our understanding when new data demands it. I'll leave you with a final thought. I'm not here to claim all the answers, but I'm here to ask the questions that matter. And if multiple civilizations separated by oceans and thousands of miles built the same things, worshipped in the same way, used the same tools, and even shared bloodlines, then maybe the real mystery isn't what we're finding. Perhaps the real mystery is why so many people are still trying not to see it. Discuss the similarities in another video found across multiple sites, whether it's the similar megalithic structures like the pyramids, the polygonal stonework, the DNA connections, long lost sunken lands, and much more. In the video, it's all here. I'll leave a link in the description down below, and if you found this video interesting, be sure to check that video out.